if the Lionesses beat Spain in Sydney on Sunday, they will become the first England team to win a World Cup since 1966. Just let that sink in. And if successful, there have been calls for an extra bank holiday for the nation to celebrate.
Well, even the Lionesses manager, Sarina Wiegman, supports the idea when Good Morning Britain asked her ahead of their win against Australia.
There's potentially a public holiday in the works here if the Matildas win the World Cup. If the Lionesses win, are you looking for a similar promise from Rishi Sunak?
I see here, yes. Yeah. I think all the English here want...
It's a yes from Sarina. Well, the government have said there are no plans for one, but are they wrong? Joining us to discuss this is businessman and former Apprentice winner Tim Campbell, who says we should absolutely have a bank holiday. Broadcaster Christine Hamilton, who thinks it's the last thing the economy needs. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Now, listen, we've been running a poll on Twitter. We're just going to have a look at the results as they stand at the moment, because I think they are very finely balanced as to whether we should have one. Yes, 49%, no, 51%. We're going to keep an eye on this.
We've been here before with these kind of figures, haven't we?
No pressure to see what happens throughout the course of this. OK, Tim, let's come to you first then. You state the case for why you think we should have a bank holiday if the Lionesses win.
Listen, this is a monumental achievement by our women's football team, who have brought the country together, really egging them on to win, which I think they will do on Sunday against in the final. I think the thing for me is that if this was the men in the final, we'd already be talking about a day off and a tour of the whole nation, not just London. And I think it's really important that we get behind them as a country and celebrate rightly on the Monday afterwards to say how proud we are of the England's women's football.
There we go. Christine, that's fair enough, isn't it? It's a monumental achievement if they do it.
Of course it's a monumental achievement, but this is not the way to celebrate it. It will be absolutely ludicrous. You say close down the whole country on the day after. Do you know how long
it won't be closing down the whole country, though, Christine.
Do you know how long it takes for businesses to plan for a bank holiday? Who is going to pay for this bank holiday? If the whole of the public sector goes out, it is the taxpayer who picks up the bill.
Well, I mean,
yes, it is. And we didn't have a bank holiday for the men in 1966.
We did it because that was a Saturday, and therefore they had the Sunday to go. This was a Sunday.
But that's not a bank holiday. That's a Sunday. That's
exactly. This
different.
game is on a Sunday, therefore the next day would be a bank holiday.
We need a recovery day.
Indeed.
Having a day off on Sunday is one thing. Most people aren't working anyway. Having a complete... Bank holidays came in 1871.
And when we had 33 of them.
When people worked Monday to Saturday, 10 to 12 hours a day, they had one day off. That is why we have bank holidays.
A lot of people do those kind of hours
We've
now.
got a bank holiday in a week's time. Anyway, if they win on Sunday, when they win on Sunday, when they win on Sunday, we've got a bank holiday coming up in a week's time. Let's use that to celebrate. It isn't the ethic that got the Lionesses where they are, having a day off. It really isn't. We've had so much time off. We've had furlough, we've had eat out to work. The country financially cannot afford a bank holiday. It costs estimates vary between $1.5 billion to $2 billion to have a bank holiday.
On the issue of cost,
absurd.
Tim, let me just pick up with that, because obviously, you know, you're a businessman. We've got people getting in touch. Spencer says, as a small business owner, I simply can't afford it. It's madness. Would you at all think, actually, cost-wise, it doesn't stack up? It doesn't make sense?
No, I think let's be clear. The reality is that if people had the bank holiday, they would actually be spending more because they'd be down at the pubs. We've had the discussion about the licences being extended. Lots of people in the leisure industry would benefit, actually, from people having the time off to go and celebrate, because they'd be actively doing stuff out in the economy, spending money, which is going to go back to tax revenue.
Yeah, but...
I think the issue for small businesses is one we have to take into consideration, because they are going to have to make changes. And whether or not the day happens immediately after the win or we have time to plan it later, I still think we should be contemplating having a day of celebration.
What we need is not more people spending money in the pub. And by the way, the government should have foreseen that they need to relax the licensing laws so that people...
That we agree on.
People should be able to drink from 8 o'clock in the morning on Sunday if they want to. What we need in this country is growth and productivity, and that means people staying at work. What about supposing all the schools go out? What are parents supposed to do at 24 hours' notice? What do they do with their kids? It's lunacy.
Do you agree with planning one further down the line?
No.
Even if it's not just this Monday, maybe later in the summer or even next year?
We've had an extra bank holiday. No, that's a spontaneous gesture that matters, and that will take place in pubs and clubs all over the country. We've had an extra bank holiday this year for the coronation, but that was massively planned. Everybody...
What do we do then to commemorate a possible win?
I'll tell you what we do. Yeah. We get behind women's sport in particular. The sort of money that we would have lost if we have a bank holiday on Monday. You can't have a bank holiday with 48 hours.
This loss is extreme. The reality for the loss is that the EY Item Club says very clearly that the day off will actually be coming back with people spending in the economy. What we actually need to increase productivity is not worrying about football, but increasing skills in this country. So if we get more people in skills, but that's got nothing to do with football. Let's celebrate the football in isolation and don't conflate the two together. If we want to increase productivity in the UK, that's a completely different conversation.
But closing down the economy for a day...
You're not closing down the economy, Christy. Let's be clear. You're having a day off to celebrate.
And just to make that point here, can I just make one point on the...
How do you discriminate between who is able to have this day off and who isn't?
Christine, can I just make one point on the cost here? Because it's in the papers today that £185 million is to be spent on food and drink for the people watching the finals. So actually it could create a lot of money, couldn't it? But I wanted to make the point as well about, you know, when we talk about money and the cost of things, is there also something about bringing the country together, having that celebration, you know, making people feel good and actually injecting a bit of positivity into public life?
Of course we can do that, but you don't need to have the day. The idea that you can have next Monday off, we won't get the result until sort of middle of the day on Sunday. The country cannot suddenly turn itself around and say, oh, whoopee, nobody's coming into work tomorrow.
But that's OK, then we can plan for it in a different way. Plan for it in a different way.
No, it's got to be spontaneous.
What I'm desperate for is for you and Neil to get back into your England T-shirts and start singing about the country and get this day off for everybody to celebrate. That's what I really want to see,
We can celebrate the Lionesses' win. It needs to be spontaneous. It will be spontaneous. It'll be, whoa-hey, hooray. And I actually am surprised that Sarina is in favour of it, because it isn't the ethic, the work ethic that got the Lionesses to where they are. Is dedication, hard work, application.
And a day off to rest, to recover when you've had that off.
We could all play football then. Why don't we all have a day where we play football to celebrate the achievements in that case?
Absolute madness.
When you train, when you work hard, you have a day off. We're going to support their working hard by having a day off. That's
Shall we see?
But people haven't worked hard, they've just sat in their chair.
Both have a day off.
Shall we see how the Twitter poll is looking to see whether you've changed your mind during the course of this debate, shall we? Let's take a look. Oh, it's still on. 49% saying yes, 51% saying no.
Can I phone my mum? She'll tip the balance.
I think that's the thing. Look, as we speak, they'll all be typing furiously, won't they, to change that vote?
There's a generational divide on this. Older people think there shouldn't be a bank holiday. Younger people think there should. The older people who have more realistic expectations and a bit of economic experience...
I'm glad you think I'm young. That's good. I'll take that as a compliment.
You'll take that as a win, will you? Yeah. Listen, thank you both very much. What a great debate. Thank you.